All right, welcome to the Duckcast. I'm Dennis Farrell. He is
James Ellsworth, duh. No need for an introduction.
James. We have a very busy show. It's going to be a weird feeling show because we're going to go deep down the rabbit hole of Roman Reigns and what's going on with him. We're going to switch gears into the Dean Ambrose thing. So I hope the fans can kind of stick with us because I think the Roman Reigns situation is a little more serious than people are letting on. If you look at the stats of leukemia, if you haven't heard, by the way, Roman opened up Raw this week, came out and basically said, I've had leukemia before, been fighting it for 11 years. It has come back. I have to step away from wrestling to take care of myself and my family first. And essentially that was it. He broke kayfabe and, even used his real name, Joe. It was very heart touching, and we both watched it, and I knew something was up because you and I, lifelong wrestling fans, but when somebody comes out not dressed up, not wearing the Roman Reigns T-shirt or the vest, and he's got jeans, a beautiful watch on, the necklace, I kind of thought, uh-oh, what's going on here?
Right, yeah, it's like Roman Reigns, obviously, when I was with WWE full time, I was on SmackDown, he was on Raw, but I did, get to do a couple of the joint shows with him, and he's a real good guy, man, real humble and just down to earth and cool to talk to. I always had nothing but pleasant, small conversations with him. Last time I saw him was at Extreme Rules in July there in Pittsburgh, and, I just said hi to him, and he said, "Hey, man, welcome back. I hope you're doing well." And he's just a nice dude, man, and it's just a touchy subject for a lot of people. And yeah, I hope he fights it. I hope he gets through it, and I, wish him nothing but the best. I know a lot of people are supporting, and rightfully so, because he's just a great guy, man. He's a father, and yeah, I was tough to watch yesterday because again, he's a dad, and he's just a great guy.
We're going to get into several different aspects of this, from the fans to the wrestlers, all kinds of things. We're not just going to scratch the surface. I did some research on leukemia, and the survival rate is between 25 and 65% for your first time. Second time, it lowers, not much, but it lowers, which says to me, look, he's got a long battle ahead of him, and I believe he can beat it. Everybody believes he can beat this. So the prayers and the positivity are going to be great. But, a lot of people really just think it's, go in, get some chemo, and he's back in the ring within a year. I think that's, best case scenario. And trust me, I hope that happens. You and I have been noted many, many times on this podcast, way before this was even a thing, that we are Roman Reigns fans. We like what he does in the ring. So, but this is heavy. And a lot of fans, I don't think, understands how heavy this is.
Yeah, it's, unless you just look it up and do your research on it, which I did, and, both of my grandmothers passed away from cancer, and everyone knows someone that passed away from cancer. And it's not easy, and it's going to be hard for me to talk about because I respect the guy so much, and obviously, I still consider myself a part of that WWE family. I don't know him too well. I don't, but I do respect the hell out of him, and he was busting his ass, and he really, really cared about what he was doing there, and he was a leader, man, on that Raw side, and very, very much respected, as, you could see from the reactions from everyone there on Twitter and everything. Yeah, it's just, and leukemia, man, it's not a good thing at all, and I believe in my heart of hearts he's going to make it through, though. I really, really do. I think he's going to fight. He's going to do what he needs to do, and he did it before. And it's a shame it came back, and he can do it again, and he will do it again. I think fans are staying positive about it. People that are between 18 and 34 years old, which is mostly the demographic of wrestling fans, I do believe that. I think the majority do understand how severe it is, and I just think everybody's being positive and and hopeful, and and he's got a lot of support behind him, and rightfully so.
There's not many things that brings the wrestling fan community together, but on Twitter, it was amazing to see people, blocking out the hate. Hey, look, here, I'll say this. It was okay to boo Roman Reigns, the wrestling character. You have every right, because that's a character. Whether you liked him or not, that was your preference. When he comes back, you have every right to boo Roman Reigns, the character, but you got to give Joe, now inside, and when he comes back, all the respect in the world. When he comes back into that ring, he will be the biggest babyface in the world, and the WWE would be smart to capitalize on that and ride that wave. But if you're going to boo him, that is fine. I've seen a lot of people that are like, when he comes back, no one ever should boo him again. Well, hang on. There's a difference between Joe and Roman. And I am a supporter of both. And I will, pray every night for Joe. But when Roman comes back, I'm going to enjoy the fact that he's back. And I will cheer or boo however my heart tells me.
Yeah, man. He even said it in his speech last night, whether people booed him or cheered him, they always reacted to him, and he really, really appreciates that. And trust me, as a performer, when you perform in a ring or just on a show, and people are reacting to you, whether it's boos and cheers, you really do appreciate it. The worst thing that can happen to you when you perform, especially in wrestling, is nobody's reacting at all, whether it's good or bad. And I'm very blessed and fortunate that people always react to my characters. So I was really cool thing that he said yesterday when he was talking about everything is that he appreciates people reacting to him, and they always will, and rightfully so, man. He's one hell of a performer. We, like you said, you and I always talk about on this podcast how we're fans of his, because he's excellent. And man, again, I don't want to talk about it too much because it is touchy, because I know he is a dad, and I know he is a good guy, and I know he works hard, and I just really, really respect him, and I really am, pulling for him and hoping he makes it through. And he's got a big fight ahead of him, but he's a tough guy, man, and he's all man, and he's going to fight it hard. And again, I believe in my heart of hearts, he's going to persevere and make it through it.
Up until Monday, let's even say Sunday night, before anybody knew anything that was going on with him, how would we describe his legacy in wrestling? Because here's a guy now who was part of one of the most dominant factions since the Attitude Era. I mean, if you look back after the Attitude Era, maybe Evolution, the Shield has been the most dominant faction in wrestling.
The best. The Shield's been the best, man, since the Attitude Era. Like, there hasn't been a faction better than the Shield since the Attitude Era, and I'm not just saying that. I truly believe that, and like, they're all great wrestlers and great performers, and the Shield's so cool with the entrance and the promos and all that putting their fist out, and like, they've been awesome, man. Like, I in my humble opinion, the best faction definitely since the Attitude Era.
But now, best faction, we both agree on that. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, he was number one on the PWI 500 in 2016. Tag Team of the Year in 2013. Most Improved Wrestler in 2015. Most Hated Wrestler in 2016 from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. From the Wrestling Observer, Most Improved in 2013. Most Overrated in 2016. Tag Team of the Year in 2013. You go and you look at his WWE credentials. Intercontinental Champion. I believe he's a one or a two-time Tag Team Champion. He's a one-time United States Champion, a one-time Universal Champion, a three-time Heavyweight Champion. He won the Triple Crown he was part of. He was a ninth.
Yeah, he won the Royal Rumble. Yeah, he's got a lot of accolades in wrestling, man. He's an outstanding talent. I mean, It's just one of those guys you look at, you go, that's a top guy. You could just look at him and tell, and from his FCW days, when I would go back and look at the guys on the roster from when he was in FCW, I remember noticing him and going, man, that guy's going to be like WWE champion one day. Like, I could just look at him and tell he had it all. He has it all. And, man, can't wait till he comes back.
Yeah, but people don't understand. If you take a second, you look through what he's done, and you take out your feelings, whether you think he's overpushed or Vince's darling, you take all that stuff out because that's not him. He doesn't get to choose if Vince loves him or not. He doesn't get to choose whether the writers or the bookers book him. He goes out there and he does what he's told night in and night out. So you take that away from him and you look at what he's done. The guy has a resume that hopefully when he comes back, this is a very strong foundation for a Hall of Fame run.
Oh, he's already a Hall of Famer, first ballot. Like, no question about it, man. He's done a lot already, and again, man, you can just look at him and tell he was going to be a top guy. But some people may have the looks but can't get it done in the ring, and he absolutely has gotten it done in the ring. There's this underrated match not a lot of people talk about with him and AJ Styles. It was a pay-per-view. I can't remember if it was Extreme Rules. It was from 2016, and man, it was so good. I don't know if it was like a Battleground pay-per-view or Extreme Rules, but it was AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns in a 2016 pay-per-view, early 2016. Just an outstanding match. It might have been at Backlash. It was one of those pay-per-views, but go back and check it out, and it was so good, man. I might watch it tonight after the World Series is over. Such a good match, and yeah, again, Roman Reigns, I'm 100% fully behind him and always have been. I've always been a Roman Reigns guy for sure.
See, I think he's a surefire Hall of Famer with the Shield alone. I think he needs a little bit longer in the industry doing.
He's main evented 4 WrestleManias. He's been world champion, Universal champion. He's a Hall of Famer. Sometimes, Dennis.
Wait. Hear me out.
Amaze me.
Hear me out. I equate him longevity-wise to Terrell Owens, or not Owens, but Terrell Davis, the Denver Broncos running back, who for better part of 4, maybe 5 years, he was the greatest running back on earth. And I feel like as a Hall of Famer, you need to do it a little bit longer, and that's only where I'm coming from. No?
It's not about how long you did it. It's what you did with the time you had, and he did a lot with the time he had, man. Like, it's...
And he's going to have more time. And he's going to have more time. Let's switch gears, because I've seen a lot of heat on the internet about the Dean Ambrose, the timing of the Dean Ambrose heel turn. And I'll be honest, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought the timing was amazing. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people complain like, hey, that was kind of Roman's night, or, why would you do a high profile heel turn on a show that would, be overshadowed by the news of Roman Reigns? And I say, you could never buy that kind of emotion. Everybody in that stadium knew the Shield was going to win that match. I mean, after what happened with Roman, we all knew there was no way the Shield could walk out. You have the fans on the highest of the heights of this roller coaster, and then you pull the rug out from under them at the highest of the height. You cannot buy that kind of emotion on any other show at any other time. It was phenomenal.
Oh, it was perfect timing. I'm sure Roman Reigns was all for it. Yeah, wrestling's entertainment, man. That's what we... Like, it's funny. Like, everybody knows it's just entertainment, right? But, like, it's just this weird, like, line of entertainment. Oh, you can't do that. It'll make any sense. Like, no, you know it's a show. Like when you go to the movies or you watch a sitcom, it's the same thing. It's entertainment. And, they had the fans, all wrapped up in emotions. It was perfect timing. And Dean Ambrose is going to be a Roddy Piper-like heel, man. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a good run. Him and Seth Rollins are going to have awesome matches. But, yeah, that was the right time to do it, and I'm sure Roman was all for it.
as a fan, I sitting there truly thinking, all right, now that Roman is out of the picture, we kind of all saw the Dean Ambrose heel turn coming. He had a different hair color, odder mannerisms. He felt disconnected from the group at times through the storytelling. I thought, okay, now that Roman's gone, maybe they'll double down on this and keep them both together and have them move forward like that. And the fact that they continued on with their plans just it fooled everybody from the 360-degree turnaround from, the emotions, unexpected. That you took the expected and turned it into the unexpected.
Oh, I thought, man, that was one of the better episodes of Raw, storytelling wise in a while. That was really, really good. I liked Elias turning babyface there, hitting Corbin with the guitar. Strowman, obviously, it's a next man up situation, and I think he'll excel. And I really think you're going to get a good Strowman babyface Universal Championship run. When you lose the top guy, which Roman was the top guy, you got to make some changes, and they did that last night, and it was a good episode. Very entertaining, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for guys like Dean Ambrose and Elias and Braun Strowman.
It was a very seamless a turnaround. You had people turning face and heel, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like, oh no, we lost this guy. Quick, let's put up a brick wall. Everybody take a left turn now, and we're doing it for the sake of we lost this guy. Everything felt natural. Everything felt like it was part of a flow. And WWE writers, they do not get enough respect when things go right. Everybody are the first ones to jump on them when the ratings are down, the shows are bad. Look, not every show has been good lately. I'll admit that. But last night, with the way they handled every situation and the writing that they've been doing with the Shield have been phenomenal up until this point. And I don't see anybody on Twitter really coming out and saying, hey, WWE writers, you got this one right. And I'm going to say it. They got this one right. Not just right, but spectacular.
Oh, man, that's with anything. If you're, getting on a plane and, if the stewardesses do a good job, you don't go, oh, thank you for the awesome job. You guys were great on this flight. No, but as soon as they forget to bring you your Diet Coke, you're all over them. That's with anything in life, it seems like. I wish people were more positive, but it is what it is. But nah, man, the show was great last night. Hold on, I'm going to check my $1.6 billion lottery ticket here, because if I hit the numbers, I'm going to hang this phone up right now and throw it in the river, and then we'll talk to you again.
So I'm following you, and I saw you put out on Twitter, by the way, the post of I'll give everybody X amount of dollars if I hit the lottery of your Twitter followers. Do I fall into that? Am I exempt because we're coworkers?
Yeah, I'll send you 100,000 pennies.
I'll take it.
It'd be what, $100?
Still, that's $100 more than I had going into this podcast.
I don't know if my math's right there. I just thought of that off the top of my head, but yeah, man. I'm gonna check these numbers, and if you just hear a that I won.
Wow, we're live podcasting. I'm getting broken up with on my own podcast with James Ellsworth. This is going to be great. While you do that, I do want to say, guys, don't forget 231-930-2053. I'll say it again. 231-930-2053 is the call-in number if you have a voicemail. We're not taking voicemails on this call, on this podcast, just because we really want to talk about what happened in the last 48 hours. We want to talk about Evolution.
We're not taking voicemails. That's what we do on here. We got to take a couple of voicemails. I know it's been a busy week, but we can't get away from the format. I want to hear from the people. You didn't even discuss this with me. What's wrong with you? If
we have time, we'll get to them. But anyways, let's move forward. But call that number anytime. Leave your name, where you're calling for a question, whether it's for James or Petey. and we'll play them as best we can on the shows. Let's. Is there anything
Best
from?
we can. No, let's take them. This is what we do. This is what separates us from everyone else. We take these voicemails and throw the fans out. Don't worry, people. I got you. I know Dennis is a heel, and he's very selfish, and he's just a downright horrible human being. But I got your back, people.
I just want you all to myself. But before we move on from the Dean Ambrose thing, anything you want to add to the heel turn?
Oh, man, I remember when I turned heel and Dean Ambrose pushed him off a ladder at the TLC pay-per-view in 2006 and watched him crash through some tables, costing him the WWE Championship. Who's the real heel around here? Memories.
Yes. Did you take pleasure in seeing him turn heel? Because he played it off perfect.
Oh, he's going to be awesome, man. Dude, you know how much fun I had working with him? He's so smart and he's so creative, and this is where he's going to really shine and excel, and I can't wait to see it, man. Like, you know, it's going to be awesome. He's going to be one hell of a heel, trust me. Dude, that time, like, him and I worked together, 3 months before that TLC pay-per-view, and I wish it would have lasted longer with him, and I really would have loved to work with him longer, and I mean that. He's awesome. What a talent, and this is going to be his best run. Mark my words.
Could you see, because he looks with the short hair now, a real feel of a natural heel. I could see him never being a face again. There are just certain wrestlers that just do not work as a face. The Shield, I thought, was a perfect heel group. And when they kind of got into that whole face stuff, it just didn't quite feel right to me. Dean Ambrose, now seeing what he did on Monday night, I don't know if I could ever see him being a face again.
Remember when, like, The Miz turned face for a little bit, how weird it was?
Mm-hmm. It was weird after he had his kid, and he's just like, I love everybody, and everything is great. I'm like, who is this guy?
The Miz is an outstanding heel, but that's how Dean Ambrose could be. He's going to be an outstanding heel. Very different from The Miz, because Dean Ambrose is going to be more of like a, you know, kind of like a Randy Orton type heel where you just know he could whoop your ass. You know, it's going to be good, man. I'm very, very happy for him, and I can't wait to see this.
Someone tweeted me, and I thought it'd be something good to bring up on the podcast. Now that we're on the subject of the WWE creative and heel turns, do you think, and this is a tough one because I don't feel like this is true, that they tweeted me and asked, do you think the WWE is its own worst enemy with the way that they don't let wrestlers use their own creativity in the ring? And I kind of disagree to that because we're in a different age of TV now. We're not in the old Attitude Era where you could just say Stone Cold, go out there, do what you do anything you need to do to get over, and he can do it. We're at a very PC time now in America, a PC time on TV. I really don't think you can give a lot of wrestling, and I know at times it's tough because you're stifling a lot of creativity, but this is a public traded company now, and you are responsible for your employees. I wish it was a different time, or maybe even a less profile company like Impact that kind of has a little bit of freedom because not that many people are watching it. But for a public traded company like WWE, I think you have to be super careful now.
I am 100%, man. Like, it's a PG company. It's publicly, like everything you just said. Yeah, it's how it has to be. It's just the way it is. It's a different time. And especially this day and age, man, where everybody's very sensitive on social media, and you just gotta be careful, 100%.
Talking about being careful, public traded companies, the WWE Crown Jewel. This is something you and I have consciously not talked about in the coming weeks, and I really feel like things are at a boiling point. I'll be the first one to admit that I don't keep up with foreign affairs. I don't really truly understand what's going on in Saudi Arabia. I know they're not all kosher, great people over there. You know, JBL was the first one to say, hey, X amount of the hijackers on 9/11 were Saudis, but yet we're doing business and they're our friends now, so why is this any different? And he makes a valid point, right or wrong. I don't know. I'm going to say I am talking about this subject from ignorance. But the Crown Jewel event now, they've doubled down and they stopped talking about it being in Saudi Arabia. It's now just a Crown Jewel event. You've seen a couple wrestlers, John Cena, come out and say, I don't think he came out, but it's reported, quote unquote, he's not going to.
He didn't come out and say anything.
Right.
Let me just make that clear. John Cena did not come out and say anything. Sometimes I have to stop dead at his tracks so that he gets ahead of himself. But he has not come out and said anything.
I
continue.
Corrected myself there. But it was rumored that he's not going. It's also rumored that Daniel Bryan's not going. Nobody knows if that's true or not. But the card, especially with Roman Reigns and not being able to make it now, this pay-per-view or the card or the show is in jeopardy from a talent standpoint. And maybe it would be smart of the WWE to just hold off. I don't know if they change the venues or if they, keep it over there or not. But you hold off because I guess if you look at the website, it was reported also that they're not selling tickets until the day of the show. I don't know how true or not that is. But if you're doing that, you can wait.
Well, I think the show's going to happen no matter what, meaning if it happens in Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. I think the show will happen. Crown Jewel will happen. It just might not be in Saudi Arabia, but I do think no matter what, it'll happen, and that's the way I feel.
Do you think a third member, and just talking about the card for a second, you had what was going to be a triple threat match with Roman, Brock, and Braun Strowman. Are you happy with the decision to make it a one-on-one match, or do you think they should have elevated somebody and threw a third person in that match?
Hell no, man. You can just have Braun and Brock out there. It's going to be, two just monsters colliding, and people are interested in seeing that, and they're going to have a hell of a match. You don't need anybody else for that.
Now, no. I don't know what Lesnar's contract is. I don't know how close it is to coming up or not. But Braun Strowman has to win this because he is under contract right now, right?
I mean, they can do what they want, man. Vince will, you'll make the decision that he feels is right, and that's just the way it's going to be. So we'll see what happens.
Now, I think I know this answer, and I'm going to ask it to you, but you're a member of the WWE roster. All this stuff, the controversy is going on. Do you say anything? Do you just put your head down and go, yes, Vince, I'll be on that plane anywhere you want me to go?
I mean, it's hard. I don't know. It's a very touchy subject. I feel like it's an open door, to what you want to do. I don't feel like they're going to force anybody to do anything they want to do. It is. It's very touchy. But, yeah, I think if people are concerned, they're going to express their feelings, and rightfully so.
Do you think you would have kept more up on this incident over there if you were in that locker room and it was directly impacting one of your shows? I don't know how plugged in you are to the politics. And as I said before, I'm not very plugged into politics outside the United States. I feel like I have a lot to worry about with my family and podcasting and politics here, that a lot of things worldwide kind of get lost in the shuffle for me. But for you, are you plugged in a lot of the outside world?
Man, I'm just very busy, but I try to, catch up on what's going on. And, I've read about the Saudi Arabia thing and the and journalists and everything. So I am aware of it and aware of the allegations and all. So, yeah, to the best of my knowledge, I know a little bit. I don't know everything. I don't know all the details, but I do keep up with the news, if that's what you're asking, yeah.
Okay, that was. Can I just say something by the way, if I'm at a WWE event, why am I going to waste my time in chanting CM Punk? This is one of my pet peeves. Hang on. This is one of my pet peeves. Here's a guy that, look, He doesn't like you guys. All right. CM Punk doesn't like wrestling. He whether wrestling doesn't like him or he doesn't like it, they broke up. He definitely doesn't want to be in the WWE. He's made that very clear. There's bitterness that I don't think there's any amount of money they could offer him for him to go back to the WWE. That's me speculating. He is notorious for not being super fan friendly all the time, okay? And I know that there are times he is fan friendly, and there have been times that he's not. Whether you catch him at a bad time eating or using the bathroom, I don't know. But guys, why do we keep chanting for a guy that doesn't want to be at the place that you are at? Chant something else. Chant another wrestler that may deserve a push. But the CM Punk chants are just as bad as the what chants today. I'm sorry, man. That is my biggest pet peeve right now.
Well, honestly, man, when they were talking about this tournament's going to decide who the best in the world is, I was like, at any minute now they're going to chant CM Punk because, dude, he got over with wrestling fans over to the point where here it is. It's been 6 years since he's been gone, and they're still chanting his name. And it doesn't matter that all those things you said that I don't know if are true or not about him. I don't know the guy, but he touched wrestling fans. They love him and they miss him. They want to see him, and they might not ever see him again. I never say never, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he's interested right now. He could change his mind, just like anybody could change their mind about anything. But they remember him being the best in the world. So when WWE calls this tournament the best in the world, I knew it was coming at some point, and it happened tonight, and it was a funny little moment with Shane McMahon.
Yeah, but time has passed him by. And I'm not saying he can't still go out there and do it. I mean, from a standpoint of, when I think of the best in the world right now, CM Punk doesn't even come to mind. You have Cody Rhodes right now, Kenny Omega. You could even say, let's see here, Chris Jericho with what he's doing. I could name probably 3 or 4 more other guys I would put ahead of the best in the world list than CM Punk right now because he's been gone
Hey, you're
so
not
long.
getting what I'm saying. He used to call himself the best in the world, right?
I get it. No, I understand that.
So that's why they're chanting his name when they say best in the world, because they remember CM Punk calling himself best in the world. That's all it is.
Oh, no. I understand that. And I absolutely remember that. But I'm just talking from a fan standpoint that if Shane McMahon's up there and he's like, this is to determine the best in the world, I would chant a number of other names like, hey, Chris Jericho. Why aren't we chanting Chris Jericho's name? Didn't he say, he's one of the best in the world at one time too?
I'm best in the world at what he does, yeah. But he always would say, I'm the best in the world at what I do.
Right.
Like CM Punk would just say he's the best in the world. I don't know, man. Fans love CM Punk, and that's just the way it is, whether you like it or not. Duh!
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, James. It irks me.
That's a shame. That's good. I'm glad it does.
I think that we could put a bow on the crown jewel, whether it happens or not. It's their decision. I'm not gonna not watch the event. I'll still watch it. I feel like the lead up to the women's Evolution has been a tad bit weak. I really thought that they could have put a little more emphasis on this. You have an all-women's pay-per-view coming up, and you haven't had a women's match close out a Raw or a SmackDown. I really thought this is a perfect time for WWE to highlight these women and put them in a spotlight and having them in a main. And they did that many months ago, and it seemed like they kind of got away with it. And boy, this week would have been a prime time to have
kind of away
done.
from it.
Yeah,
kind of away from it. Yeah, okay. I just had to go back and help you with your words again.
Thanks.
But anyway, man, it's Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey, 2 biggest women stars in the company, because that's what they are. They get the most eyes on them. Big main event. They did the contract signing on Monday. I thought it was very well done, and I think people are looking forward to Ronda Rousey beating up Nikki Bella, and that's what you want going into a main event of a pay-per-view. I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte. That's been there's been a lot of time on that rivalry, and that's been an outstanding rivalry. They have a last woman standing match coming up. I think they're going to steal the show. Um, I think those two, those are your top two matches for the pay per view, and they have spent time on pushing those matches. And they've also spent time with Lita and Trish coming back to team up. Um, they did some time tonight. There's going to be a women's battle royal. The winner gets a women's title match, and they put time on that. Now, I mean, they've been spending time pushing it, especially Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey match, which I am looking forward to because I think it's going to surprise a lot of people.
And the one thing I've noticed this week is you don't really see women wrestlers from the past come back and work on a regular basis. You see a lot of the guys do it, but you don't really see a lot of the women do it, which makes it, to me, more special when Alita and a Trish come back, opposed to, I don't want to use the pick on The Rock, not that he cares, but The Rock will come in and out very frequently. He has in the past, and now a little bit more infrequently that he's a star. But you can look at the past. The Hardys are kind of one of those guys. You fast forward
two of those guys.
Two, yeah, they're two of those guys. One now.
I could do this all night long. This is great. I'm just gonna keep doing this. But anyway, go ahead.
I appreciate it, but no, I feel like the women. It's more special when a woman from the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era, whatever era you want to call that, come back because they don't do it as often.
Yeah, it's you're right. You don't see it as often. You get your Trish and Lita that'll pop up a couple times a year maybe, and like Molly Holly's going to be in the Battle Royal. I think Laundra Blaze Medusa is going to be in the Battle Royal, which is cool. I don't think she wrestled on WWE television in what has to be 25 years maybe easily. Or something crazy like that. So, it'll be interesting, and man, I can't wait to check out Evolution this Sunday. And I get a lot of tweets. Are you going to pop up on Evolution? And man, that when I took that Money in the Bank briefcase, it's like this is the guy that's going to mess up every woman's thing ever. That's what people think. It's funny.
That's and it sucks that sometimes you get edited out of a lot of those highlight tapes. I get it, depending on the story that they tell, but as a friend, when I see something like that, I go, nah, there's no James in that.
Man, they're I'll pop up everywhere. I'm everywhere, man, and I'll pop up WWE again. I got a good relationship with them, and so when they do stuff like that, it doesn't bother me. Everybody knows what happens at the first ever Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That's always going to be the biggest memory of that me crap it, dude. I loved what I did that, man. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite moments. But no, man, this is their time to shine. This is an all women's pay per view, and they're going to kill it. I have a feeling they're going to have an outstanding pay per view. And I think obviously the Becky Charlotte match, everybody thinks that's going to steal the show, and I think it's going to live up to its hype. I think they will steal the show.
I'm glad to finally see the WWE coming around because, a lot of these other companies, I would say, and you can't really say this on any other aspect, but they might be ahead of the curve on the WWE when it comes to highlighting women, especially Impact with their knockouts and what they've done. You have Shimmer and many of the other women's, Impact had an all women's pay-per-view a couple times. So it's good to see them starting to catch up.
Yeah, man, it's I think before it's all said and done, maybe even this year, I think you're going to see an all a woman's main event at WrestleMania, and my guess would be it'd be Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's a megastar, and her main event at WrestleMania would make sense. But I think it will happen sooner than later.
Boy, and I've seen a lot of people debate this, and I think you're right. It's going to be Ronda Rousey versus somebody else. I'd like to see Becky right now because she is the hottest thing going with this heel turn and the way she's taken, breaking through the glass ceiling and really running with the opportunity they gave her. If they could build Asuka back up, I think that would have been a phenomenal match, Asuka versus Ronda Rousey.
Oh, yeah, of course. Ronda Rousey's doing great in WWE, by the way. She's very, very new. She just got thrown to the wolves, basically. Didn't have a lot of time to train. She did some training with my boy Brian Kendrick out there in L.A. Shout out to Brian. I love Brian. and did some training at the Performance Center, but not a lot, but for the limited amount of training she's had in wrestling, she's doing an outstanding job, and you could tell she really cares about it. She's really passionate about it, and she wants to learn, and she wants to do very well, and it just comes off that way. And she doesn't have to do this. Like, she's a megastar. She does movies. She was the biggest women's draw ever in the UFC. And she doesn't have to wrestle, but she loves wrestling, and you could tell she's having a great time with it. So I'm a big supporter of hers, and going forward, I do think she'll main event at WrestleMania.
She has to. I absolutely agree. I can give, and I don't know if this is hypocritical or not, but I can give a pass to somebody who's been a lifelong fan, who's trying week in and week out, over somebody that hasn't been, but may be famous in another way, that got into the wrestling business based off their name and is less talented. I can forgive a lifelong fan. If Ronda went in there, and not that she's not, but she's performing at a higher level than anyone expected her to. But if she came in and performed at the level that maybe we all might have expected her to, I still could have forgiven that, because she has a passion, a lifelong fan.
Yeah, she's loving it, man. She's just hell of an athlete, and I think she's going to have a hell of a career at WWE. She's already women's champ, and again, I think she's going to. I really, really, really think she's going to main event at WrestleMania. Mark my words.
Oh, easily. I 100% agree with you. So, James, we're going to wrap this up here in a second, but I wanted to ask you, you were at NWA 70 this past week, which was a totally different reaction than what you got from your surprise Bound for Glory intro. Talk me a little bit through the NWA 70.
Oh, man, it's like Roman Reigns said, like I brought up earlier, whether you cheer me or boo me, thank you for reacting to me, because that's what matters, and that's what promoters and bookers and that's what they should be looking at, man. Like, people that get reactions when they come out, no matter where they go. And I'm very lucky and blessed to have that. And I know I have it, and I know that's something that a lot of people might not have, that I'm very blessed to have. So I thank wrestling fans for that. In New York City, there, Bound for Glory, they chanted "F.U. Ellsworth," which was great, man. I loved it. And then here at NWA 70 in Nashville, Tennessee, when I came out, man, the roof, it was just what a loud babyface reaction, and they did the Ellsworth chant, and I'm blessed, man. For whatever reason, I connect with the audience, and I'm very, very, that's what I'm there to do, connect with the audience, perform, and entertain them. And dude, let me tell you, NWA 70 was a great show. If you haven't seen it, go on Fight TV and find it. Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis in the main event. Outstanding match, better than their all-in match, in my humble opinion. Cody Rhodes, I love his entrance music, and dude, his whole thing is great. Like, he comes out, Brandy Rhodes comes out there at the stage, and then she gets a nice reaction. Then he comes out, and people just, he's biggest star outside of WWE right now, in my humble opinion. He's awesome, and he's hitting on all cylinders. Willie Mack won the national title there. He's like, him and I are, we're cool. We're becoming friends. I did a little run in there during pay-per-view and saved him from Bradley, and hopefully I get to work with Willie Mack more, because what an outstanding talent. He just almost kind of reminds me, like, he has that look like kind of like the Junkyard Dog did, with the beard and the body and all. He wrestles like Too Cold Scorpio. He's so athletic, and dude, I love Willie Mack. What an entertaining guy. And he's such a dude backstage, and talking to him and all. What a great guy, and I'm happy for him. And I hope I get to work with him more in NWA and maybe elsewhere. He's awesome. But yeah, dude, very good vibe and feel there in NWA 70 with all the legends there, and all the young talent, and it was sold out. Hats off to Billy Corgan and those guys for putting that together, and I can't wait to be a part of more NWA shows. What a fun night. I very much enjoyed it.
I marked out with the picture of you and Billy. Talk to me a little bit about the conversations you had with him there, because look, Smashing Pumpkins, we're the wheelhouse of greatest bands that we grew up with in our era, and he is a bigger, if not biggest, wrestling fan than all of us put together. So much so, he tried to buy TNA. He ended up with the NWA. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he's dude. That was my first time meeting him. He's very passionate about about wrestling, and he wants to do good things with this NWA, and that's what I was very happy to see when I was around him, how passionate it was and how much he cared. And yeah, I love that because I'm very passionate about wrestling, and it was cool to see. And again, here's a guy that doesn't have to do this. He's part of the Smashing Pumpkins, one of the coolest bands of all time. He's rich. He don't need to be involved with wrestling, but he is because he loves it, and he wants to make this NWA thing work. And I mean, what a big accomplishment there at Nashville on Sunday with NWA 70 sellout crowd and an awesome show. And again, man, I can't wait to be a part of more of them.
Let me ask you this, and this may be a hard question for you to answer, but on a show like the NWA 70, and I had talked to PD at Links on this week's podcast about locker room leaders and impact. Is there a locker room leader when you go into a show like that? Is it going to be Cody because he's the champion? Is there not really one? Everybody's kind of hanging out and high-fiving each other. How does the locker room makeup go when you go to a show like that?
I mean, you just, like a show like this, when it's kind of like the first one, there really isn't nobody steps up as locker room leader. Like Nick Aldis, he's the main guy that people know and associate NWA with right now. Two-time NWA champion now. And, dude, I'm such a fan of him. He just looks like a champion, carries himself like a champion. Like, that guy's money, man. He tore it up in the ring with Cody Sunday. And, I think if there is going to be a locker room leader for NWA going forward, it's going to be Nick Aldis. And rightfully so.
Hey, let me ask you, are your bags packed yet?
For the Jericho cruise, not yet. I got to start packing tomorrow. Maybe take my floaties in case I'll go overboard, and maybe I have a little too much of a pina colada while I'm on there. And I guess, but yeah, dude, I'm excited. The Jericho Cruise defending the Intergender title against Jenny Rose, and just hanging out for 4 days, man. What a unique event! I can't wait, man. This is so different from anything I've ever done or anybody's ever done in wrestling. And, man, it's going to be awesome. I think all the cabins are pretty much sold out. He might have 3 or 4 left. JerichoCruise.com for your cabin now. There's only a couple left. Dude, so excited. I love Chris Jericho. He's helped me out so much, and I am so happy he made me a part of this.
There's going to be several Fonzie concerts. There's a Busted Open live show. And I'll tell you this, my goal now is to be the third biggest podcast to be invited on the Jericho Cruise. Next year, you and I, live podcast on the Jericho Cruise. Or just you, and you can tell me about it.
I can clothesline you overboard like the Royal Rumble, but you can swim, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, man. I really want the Dugcast to do well, and we're going to keep on busting our ass to make stuff like that happen. We're very new. But, we're going to come up with an awesome business plan here soon, and we're going to make it happen, man. We're going to do cool stuff like this. But, yeah, dude, very much looking forward to the Jericho Cruise. Very much looking forward to stepping in the ring with Jenny Rose and defending my intergender title. Very much looking forward to seeing everybody and being a part of all the events. And, man, when I call you when I get back, hopefully I'll have some awesome stories to tell you.
Oh, I'm sure you will. One more question. And I think I might have asked you this on the third or fourth Dougcast we ever did. But I want to revisit this question real quick before I, set you a C, just in case I never see you again and your cruise becomes a 4-hour tour and you're stuck on a minnow out in a, island somewhere and it takes 3 seasons for you to get off. But the intergender title, I had asked you before, you are the ultimate booker when it comes to this. Now that you've been touring around with this and it's a thing and it's getting over, people love it. Have bookers really tried really hard to get you to drop that title on their show?
No, they have not. Will I drop it one day? Yeah, when the time is right. Maybe it is. The time is right on the Jericho cruise. Maybe not. But I like to do things when people least expect it. Like, dude, in 1 week's time, I was on the Bound for Glory. I went to SmackDown, did an exclusive there for WWE.com for SmackDown 1000. Then I was on NWA 70, and I just love surprising people like that. It's so fun. So it's obviously it's not a gimmick that I'm just going to carry around forever and not lose. I will lose it one day, and maybe it's going to be on the Jericho cruise, maybe not. I just want people to be surprised and shocked, and I think they will. That's the cool thing about it. You build the titles. It's the person that makes the title, not the title that makes the person. And this is just something that I made up, and I'm making it that way. When somebody beats me for it, it means something.
Oh, absolutely. And from a storytelling purpose, sometimes the chase is better than you actually having it. So it livens up that gimmick now that something changes with it.
Absolutely.
All right, that's this week's Duckcast. We're running out of time. Let's wrap this up and get back to the World Series.
Dennis, I would defend the intergender title against you, but I can't figure out which gender you are.
I'm intergender. A little bit of both.
That didn't make any sense. I made a funny joke there, and you wrote it. Thanks, Dennis, for ruining my joke.
You know where
I'm James Ellsworth for the Dogcast. Thank you, people, for listening, and we'll blame Dennis for every wrong thing that ever happens in the history of the world.
All right. Good night, everybody.